All right, welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. For this video, I will just be doing a soft press on my hair. I guess I'll kind of be explaining what I consider a soft press and why I like to do it or how I like to do it. But I will just be showing the steps that I take to achieve my goals when it comes to a soft press. Now, soft press, I don't know if that's an actual term, but to me, it kind of reminds me of when I was younger. My mom would warm comb my hair, so it'd be kind of like a blowout look. It just wasn't as much heat put on my hair, but it also had a little bit of straightening to it, if that makes sense. So that's basically what I kind of consider a soft press, where I blow dry my hair and I use heat. I just don't use a lot of heat. I just get my hair to a point where I'm able to comb through it without any snags or any issues, put my hair in a ponytail, and just all the things that I just wouldn't really be able to do if I just left it blow dried. But it's also not really straight. Now, what I did before I got here was I just washed my hair, I blow dried it. These videos were shot like back to back, but I went out of town. I was in Asia for 2 weeks, so I didn't have enough time to finish this video off as I planned. But I just washed my hair, I blow dried it, and then I'm just going to go through my hair and just do each step as I go along. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Timo, like comb straightener, and go through my hair, as I feel like it's a good way for me to get my roots without burning myself. So I do like to go through it with the Timo, and it just makes my hair a little bit more manageable for when I pick up the flat iron. So I'll start with that, and then eventually I will pick up my flat iron and go through my hair, but just with bigger chunks. Like, I'm not really trying to get it super straight. I just want to make sure that my roots are straight so that I can pull my hair back in a ponytail with little to no tension. And then also I want to make sure that my ends are pretty combed out, so that way, are pretty straight. So that way when I'm combing my hair, I'm not ripping my hair out or feel like I'm damaging my hair as it's in this state. As for my heat settings, I believe these are pretty much on the highest heat setting, if not very close to the highest heat setting. I did use some heat protectant when I blow dry my hair. I can't really recall if I used it during this time too, but if I did, I probably did it on both ends. But yeah, I just use some heat protectant and I go through my hair. Now, what I will say is this time around, I didn't straighten it enough. I should have straightened it a little bit more, but I just wasn't trying to at this point because I was going to be straightening my hair again like a month later. So I didn't want to put all that heat, as I just don't straighten my hair that often. So I just thought it could be a little bit lighter, but eventually I did have to go back in off camera and add just a little bit more heat, just because it was basically blow dried. Like, I needed just a wee bit more heat. So I ended up coming back in and doing it again, but also I needed more of a trim than what I trimmed this time around. So when I straightened my hair later on, the month later, when I re-straightened my hair, I ended up cutting more hair than this time around. Now, as somebody who wore their hair straight for a long time, I guess the term is natural, a straight natural. As somebody who I guess would fall under the category as a straight natural for a good chunk of my life, I've always preferred my hair to be straightened, but to have some volume. I don't really like the bone straight look, as I have such thick hair that when it's straightened that much, I just kind of feel bald. So I like my hair to have a little bit more volume, a little bit more body. And also, I just have a lot of hair, so it's kind of tiring. So I've always leaned more to like a fuller press. I don't like it to look see-through, if that makes sense. But back to just talking about the whole straight natural, I feel like there's a lot of people who used to have straight hair back in the day, but their hair wasn't just flat ironed. It was actually chemically treated. And that was something that I just kind of had to realize during my natural hair journey, that what I was doing maybe it wasn't the norm, or maybe it just wasn't the most popular thing when it came to natural hair. So now that I see videos of people talking about being a straight natural and just talking about the health of their hair, I think it is worth mentioning that you can still be a straight natural without having bone straight hair, and having some body to the straightened hair isn't a crime. Having it curled, having it maybe a little bit more on the poofy side isn't the end of the world. It is my preference. And I think sometimes when people see like the poofy straight hair, it just means like they failed at the press. But to me, I don't know, I don't see it as a fail. I see it as a different style. Okay, so I'm basically done with this side of my hair. I'm going to show the difference. You can kind of see the roots, how it's a little bit poofier. My whole goal is to make sure that I kind of straighten out my roots, because that is where I receive the most tension when I'm trying to pull my hair back or put it into a braid. I do have a lot of tension there, and I just don't like the feeling. It's pretty uncomfortable. So that's why I try to make sure I hit my roots. And then I also try to make sure that I get my ends really good for when I'm combing and brushing my hair out, that I'm not snagging my hair. So I did do the Timo to the other side off camera, and now I'm just going to take my flat iron and go through my hair with big chunks. Now, I believe I already mentioned it, but I should have taken smaller chunks, as it just wasn't straight enough. It was still just a little too blow dried when I was done with this video, but I did end up going over it again off camera because it took me a couple days to realize I probably need a little bit more heat. But once I realized, I just basically did the flat iron part again with big chunks, maybe just not as big, and it kind of got it to where I needed it. But the idea is the same, just going over my hair with big chunks or with the flat iron and the Timo, just to kind of get it better than what it would be blow dried, so that I can manage it without damaging my hair or hurting myself in the process. So that is why I just kind of do it that way. Okay, now this is where I could have done better. I honestly could have made these pieces smaller, but I was tired and I thought that it would be okay. I honestly thought the Timo was enough, but I realized after about a day or two that it needed just a little bit more heat. Also, my ends needed to be cut, and I did cut some of them this round, but honestly, it wasn't enough. When I did my second cut, it was like, oh yeah, I needed those extra inches to be gone. So I misjudged a couple things, but I also wasn't pressed. But now looking back at it, I should have just taken smaller pieces, but I still feel like I can kind of get the message across as to what I'm trying to say. So just don't take this as like the final result, because I did have to go over it again, and I did eventually have to cut more of my hair than I cut this time around. Also, something that I find a little interesting when I'm watching people, or if I come across videos of people talking about starting to wear their hair straight and flat ironing it more, is when people talk about silk press season or press season. I don't know. It's interesting to me because I wear my hair straight all year round. So it wasn't a season, it was every single month I was just getting my hair straightened. And I just never really thought that other people couldn't do that. And when I say couldn't, I just mean like maybe the area that they live in, maybe it's more humid, maybe it has more rain or snow. That's just not something that we experience too much in California. Like if it shifts just a little bit too far to the left or the right, then we are all complaining. So our seasons are somewhat consistent, but like even when it's hot, it's not super humid. Like my hair won't revert. Maybe if I like sweat, my roots would get a little irritated or a little textured, but for the most part, what I experienced growing up was fog, and my hair didn't really react to the fog. Now that I am older and I don't straighten my hair as often, I do react a little bit more to the weather, mainly when I'm like traveling. If I go somewhere that's a little cold or foggy, my hair will react. But other than that, I never experienced that. One thing that I did struggle with when it came to straightening my hair, because I did my hair myself a lot. I would straighten my own hair. People would always be like, oh, you blow dried your hair. And it's like, no, actually I didn't. I spent hours straightening my hair, multiple passes, heat all the way up. Like it was a thing, small pieces. Like I just have a thick hair, and my hair kind of has a mind of its own. It's not going to do what I want unless I burn it out. So that was one thing, as well as when I would first make like YouTube videos, people be like, that's not a silk press, or that's not really straight, or you can get it straighter by doing this. And at a certain point, my goal wasn't to have it bone straight. So that's why I may seem like I am anti bone straight hair. I'm not. It's just I used to fight for my life when trying to explain to people that this is just the way that I like my hair. Not everybody wants pin straight, bone straight, silk pressed hair. So that is just something that I recall, but there is more options to straighten hair than just super straight hair. Like I just don't think my hair is meant for that personally. Okay, but I am wrapping up my hair now. It's basically just everything that I said in this video. I like to go over the Timo, go over my hair with the Timo, mainly for my roots, because it's just nice for me to get my roots without burning my scalp. And then the straightener is usually good for my ends, so that they're not too like kinky, so I can comb through it no problem while my hair is kind of like in this soft press mode. As I mentioned before, this isn't really the ideal end result, but I was tired, didn't notice, took big chunks, a little delusional, but I eventually went over it again after a few days of me noticing that I just didn't have quite enough heat, and I also had the epiphany that I probably needed to cut a little bit more hair, which I do in the future. I just didn't do it this video. So in the end, you will see my hair is still pretty much poofy, but it is more manageable than what I started with. It may not be that noticeable, but it is. So I'm going to show a brief clip of me just combing it out. I don't have that many clips of like end result, but I feel like if you've seen one straighten hair video, you've seen them all. I have quite a few. So it's nothing too crazy or too different from those, but this is just what it looks like, and I will continue to post more. I believe I showed me straightening it again. I don't recall, but this is kind of what it looks like. Just imagine it's slightly more straightened. But that is all that I have for this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I made my point clear.